Hey, how's it going? Welcome to another episode of Director's Commentary. We are talking about season 2 of One with Wolfpack Football, and this episode is entitled. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Thanks. Ooh, painting the field. Always a fun time filming these guys paint the field.
In the evolution of
It's like
growing up,
peaceful.
I think kids start to realize what reaching their goals requires. And sometimes in high school,
It's meditative,
the kid
very
that's
zen.
really talented, may not have the desire, but he still shows on the field.
So we're getting ready for the first game of the season.
It's not that way. Everybody's a very talented person,
And
you have to work. I mean,
we want to
regardless
set that
of
scene
the
up. So one of the ways I love to set an episode like this up is with painting the field. The fact that this is your first home game, so let's see the stuff that goes into it.
We're judged, on national television, and you don't want to be that guy that underachieved and didn't reach his potential.
That's a good shot.
Because you didn't do everything you could do.
I don't know if I did that one or not, but I like it.
It's different if you've given all your work, all your grit, all your toughness, and you get beat on a play, so be it. That other player's a good player.
Man, I really love this interview
Don't let
lighting.
those things
I was a
happen
big
because
fan
you
of it.
didn't prepare the right way, or you didn't get the rest, you didn't give yourself the
Now, the funny thing is, like, if we stay on that wide shot of Coach Doran in that interview for a long time, if you pay attention to the lights that are in the background, you'll actually notice that they oscillate a little bit, and that has to do with the camera. Like, the shutter speed of the camera isn't in line with the frequency of those lights, so you end up seeing this kind of like pulse. Yeah, you're kind of seeing it there. If you look at it, it goes kind of in and out, in and out. The lights don't actually do that. That's just the trick of the camera, which is kind of annoying when you're like fast forwarding through the footage because it looks like a little strobe light. But in real time, you can't really notice it that much. So that's good. Looking back over these has been a lot of fun. Just remembering some of the highs and lows, both, from a team perspective. And I mean, I'll be honest, it's mainly for me. I'm watching it and be like, okay, yeah, I did a good job with that. Or I watch it and be, oh, we did not do a good job with that. Which is good. I think if you have any kind of sign of growth, that's always beneficial to know what you did right and wrong. So yeah. I don't exactly remember a lot of the specifics about this particular season, but that's why I like doing these. Oh yeah, this was the first year we got a presenting partner for the show. So presented by Ram. I guess shout out to them. I don't know if it helped I don't know if we got any of that extra money, but anyway. So yeah, paint the field.
And they got a really good staff, and their players, winning 28 games in 2 seasons. They've played a lot of football.
Back at the press conference. These press conferences are being
they've got a lot of guys, even though they lost a lot of starters in some areas. They got a lot of guys that have played.
Being held in a different area than the previous season, because now there's
I'm excited for these young men, and
because that room that we filmed in for the first season for press conferences wasn't available because it was being turned into the broadcast studio. So they moved it. They moved the press conferences to the Vaughn Towers inside the stadium, and I thought it was a pretty cool setup. It's a lot bigger, and honestly, it's a little nicer looking. So it's kind of cool to be somewhere a little bit different.
It's not anxiety anymore. It's you're excited to see them. You're anxious for them. You want them to play well. You're just trying to think about ways you can help them. And
some of the things you might notice in the background is it's not on right now, but there's a printer back there. And in front of that printer is a diffuser. And sometimes we would forget to turn it off. And there's just this thing in the background that's just spewing out mist becomes kind of distracting. But if we can remember it, we remember to turn it off.
You know there's an underground there, right? There's a whole world underground. That's how they travel around. You see them disappear behind a fence, they pop up somewhere else on the other side of town. My kids, when we lived in Tampa, they had season passes for like 6 years straight.
So this is Kevin Patrick, the defensive line coach.
Probably as much fun as you can have as a coach. I mean, you know, not that car drove itself last year, but you know, those guys were much further along than this group of young men that I have. But I think this is what makes coaching fun. You know, when you get to coach it from, you know, at their birth stage of college football. So
always very
it's been fun this camp. You know,
welcoming to me and my crew, which is always nice. Always nice when the person you're covering is tolerant, I guess, of you. So yeah, a little context here that there were a lot of seniors in his position group the previous season, and they're all gone, and so he's dealing with a very young group, and so I feel like it was important to talk about that, the fact that you had a defensive group the year before who had such praise and accomplished so many things, and they were all upperclassmen, and now you have some freshmen coming in, some first years, and you're like, okay, how do we handle that? Like, there inevitably is going to be a change, but how much of a change will there be?
During fall camp, it kind of surprised me how much it was. I didn't think it was.
Oh, and we got number 29, Aleem McNeil. Oh, look at that baby face Aleem. He is he's currently playing for the Detroit Lions, which is dope. But yeah, this is him as a freshman. Man, that's crazy. Time flies, right?
I say some of the bigger leaders like E.
So because of this group being young, obviously I want the perspective of someone who is new within the first 2 years of being on this group. So Aleem was a good fit for that. So shout out to Aleem for agreeing to do an interview. But there are, like he's saying, there are not just freshmen on the squad. There are upperclassmen too. So we're gonna hear from them in a little bit, which will be cool. And so this season, I was really trying to provide just more perspective. You know, somebody newer to the program, somebody who's been in the program for a while, somebody who has a connection to a school that they are playing, trying to look for these unique perspectives on things, because that's what makes things interesting. It provides a point of view that maybe we don't think about. We, you know, as an audience, don't necessarily think about what it is actually like from different perspectives on the inside of something, as opposed to just something on the outside.
Oh yeah? Well, let's go. I want to see it. I'm on you all day about it. Let's go. Hey, make sure it's right.
So here we go. Got Andreas Bryant.
Yeah, I see myself as a leader. More so as a
Is upperclassmen in a leadership position. We got a cool feature coming up on some of his
so yeah, just being able to bring these guys along with me, you know.
Some of his extracurricular activities. I guess that's the best way to put it. I don't know. For good.
Hey, last quarter, bro. Let's go.
This was a unique opportunity to showcase different sides of players. What do they get into when they're not into football or they're not into school? Like, what drives them? What makes them happy? Anything like that.
You don't think so? Oh, sweet feet. Oh, you know I got feet like Ali.
It goes about being an incredible human being, you know. I mean, he does all
And now we do this kind of like thing where we get the perspective of the player, then we cut back to Coach Doran providing his insight on that player as well, or even a concept that the player is talking about. I wanted to do a better job of weaving together different stories. I didn't want to like chunk things up if I could avoid it. I mean, sometimes that is what has to happen, but what I want to do is weave everything together. So here we've got this little feature on Andreas and his cousin
Just wanted to do something.
basically helping out the less fortunate.
Push it out,
And
exposed. So
yeah, he had a YouTube channel with all that stuff on there too, which was pretty neat. I do appreciate.
my comfort zone.
I mean, I think we all should appreciate those who can use their
I can't do it that much. So by me stepping out and doing
platform to
like show people the other side of me that they've never seen before.
bring awareness to a cause or to
Grew up
help spread
you know, I never like to see nobody
positivity or highlighting highlight injustice or
people around here at NC State. It's like
showcase help that can be done.
I felt like that was the perfect time to
Yeah, I feel like that's.
there's so much people on this campus, it can affect a lot.
I mean, there's not like
I
a.
feel good, you know, knowing
What am I trying to say? I think we can't just look at a player as just a player. We can't just look at him as a student. We have to look at all these folks as individuals, as humans, and what do they do on a human side. Like, just because I'm sitting on my couch watching a football game on a Saturday doesn't mean that the people I am watching on that field, that's all they do. They do more than that. And so when I found out that Andreas does stuff like this, I was like, you know what? I want to show this because this is important. It's both showcasing something that
Give me that.
or people that our society is neglected, and it's showing what
Something.
one individual is trying to do about it. And I think that's cool.
You know, you can't play this game without a deep desire, especially at this level. But I don't think there's a really.
So we've got this cool
Hey, listen.
storyline about desire because that's the theme of this episode. All the themes this season were
Family on two, 1, 2.
me and my team came up with and ran them by Coach Doran about like, hey, is this cool with you? And basically, yeah. So with desire, I wanted to showcase, obviously a desire to win, desire to play football, and then a desire to do what? A desire to lead, desire to help your community. There's a lot of different things that individuals want. And so to showcase all levels of that, I think it's important. Sorry for the interruption. If you're enjoying what you're watching today and you want to keep up to date on other videos that I put out, go ahead and hit subscribe as well as ringing the bell to be notified whenever a new video of mine happens to be released. What else? Oh, I post small excerpts of these episodes up on my Instagram and my TikTok. If you want to check it out, it's Tay D. Adams on Instagram and Taylor D. Adams on TikTok because social media is weird. Okay, that's it. Resume watching. Thanks. Love some fan footage. First game of the season. First home game of the season. That's a cool shot. JMU. I grew up about 30 minutes outside of JMU, and my stepdad taught there. So I connected to that school.
It's overwhelming, and it just, it's just like I told, some of these young guys are going to play in their first game. Just take it all in and enjoy it, and you're going to have a little bit of nervousness. You're going to have the butterflies. Maybe
I don't remember how this game goes, so this should be fun. This should be fun to check out again.
And that's more exciting than any other play you're going to have in college football is that first play you're going to have.
Who doesn't love slow motion football footage and post-rock music playing in the background? Straight out of some Friday Night Lights stuff right there.
Look at everyone in the stands, just taking a look at everything. This Carter family gets rocking. And me living in Raleigh, I've been to a lot of state games, even before being recruited. As a young child, I was at state games.
Actually, where Aleem went to high school, I live maybe 2 blocks from.
It's like nothing else.
That's kind of cool. These connections we have that we're unaware of.
Y'all ready to have some fun? There ain't a whole lot to say. It's time to go do it. Play with those pads, man. Play for each other and enjoy every freaking minute of it. It's a one play at a time deal. One play at a
When
time.
I tell you
Putting all your heart,
the
all
difference
your love,
between
all your fun.
what a locker room smells like before a game and after a game,
Call, do it again. Get the call.
hoo boy.
Everybody got each other's back in here, right?
Some smells will stay with you forever. Okay, and been a while since we had a football game, so here we go. Oh, that's nice. That was a good shot. That's a good catch, too.
Ryan Finley picking his receivers as he wants to.
Second and 18 from the 26. Here's Finley with a swing pass to Baker Williams in the first game. His first catch, he fumbles a football.
Oh, no. So you hear that the music changed right before that turnover happened. And that's something I wanted to do a better job with, was making the game more dynamic. Not, forcing anything, but I wanted to show that not everything goes one way all the time. I noticed that the more games I edited throughout the year, more often than not, as things went on, I would keep them monotone. Not like wasn't trying to keep them monotone. It just ended up coming out that there wasn't a whole lot of variety, especially, and you can sculpt dynamics and structure almost with music choice. And so we have some upbeat music because it's the first game of the season, and then we have a quick change to something dark because there is a turnover and the opposing team does score. So what do we do from there? We don't just want one piece of music to play over highlights for the entirety. We want the music to fit the vibe and the story of what is happening on screen. So after that turnover and score, we're trying to okay, let's show that the team isn't quitting. So now I've got some more motivational music as NC State is on offense again, and we're trying to go for a score. And look at that. That was a score. As well as a field goal that was a little bit earlier that I was talking over. So.
He's hit as he fires, he throws, and it's caught at the 21-yard line. He sends Johnson, one of the backs, in motion. He fakes like he's going to throw to Johnson. He's sacked by Ibrahim.
Oh, nice. That was good.
Pack faking blitz, they'll rush 4. DiNucci looks.
Now, is the balance between music and visuals perfect? Absolutely not. But just trying to do our best here.
Andreas Bryant picks it up, drops it, and then falls on it again all the way out to about the 31-yard line.
So now we've got a scary moment here where one of our heroes of the episode, one of our featured guests on the episode, recovers a big fumble, but then is down after an injury, and it's scary. Now there's a pause in the game. He is carted off, gives us the thumbs up. Now to keep you in waiting, but he does come back, not to play, but he comes back on the bench and he's relatively fine. It's just a little bit of a scare, and so yeah. But now you're like, oh man. In my head, I'm like, oh, I'm worried. I'm obviously worried for Andreas, but I'm also thinking like, do I have to scrap my story? Because sometimes, personally, I can run up against the thing where it's like, okay, you featured this person on your show, but then that person gets hurt. So do we want to even show them? Like I've been asked that before, and I don't know why I wouldn't. I mean, it doesn't change. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything about what they said. It doesn't change their perspective on things as far as like within the episode, because things that we're talking about do happen before, an injury might occur or whatever. But yeah, we're not going to scrap a story, but it has been proposed to me before, which obviously I don't really do that.
Caught by Myers. What a diving catch.
Okay, so we're into the fourth quarter. Things are still relatively close.
Dropped in his own backfield. Marshall swarmed under by 3 defenders.
So Andreas comes back. And he was fine. And it was good. It was just a bit scary. It's just precautionary type stuff. Thank goodness.
He's being rushed. He's going to take off to the 5-yard line, to the 4, down to the 3 goes DiNucci. Here's the snap. Ball down.
Man, it was hot that day. It was like 90s. Ooh, boy.
breaks the tackle across at the 20. Finley in a shotgun, firing right side. Caught by Harmon, and he's taken out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Here comes a blitz. Finley looking, fires it left side. Open is Myers. 45-40.
Oh, nice deep throw. Good catch, too.
30-yard line,
Oh,
split
oh,
down,
oh, what's happening?
and stopped at the 30. Center on first down for the 18 of JMU. Handoff going to Gillespie. Breaks the tackle in the secondary to 10. Down to the 5-yard line goes Reggie Gillespie. There you go, boss.
That dude would not stop running. He was tough to bring down. I was fortunate enough to be in a good position right there to capture some nice audio from Steph Lewis there, encouraging players. And again, for this season, I wanted to just do a better job than what I did the previous season. I wanted to vary things up more. I wanted to provide more perspectives, including, the audio on the sideline. I think we had a fair amount the previous season. Oh, what a hit. But a fair amount the previous season, but I just wanted to do a better job being consistent and being balanced with it. Oh, that was kind of impressive. And it's kind of cool. Things did come down to the wire for a bit. Nice. Good win.
24-13. Light up the bell tower red.
Love when a plan comes together, right?
How about that, Wolfpack? 1-0. Half the teams in the country are 0-1. Half the teams are 1-0. We're on the right side of things with a lot of work to do.
I think that's a good perspective. After your first game of the season, it's like half the teams lost, half the teams won, and they had that 1-0 or 0-1 record. It's kind of cool. Just think about. If I don't know if you noticed it, but in the original episode, there's a bit of a jump cut, like right in the middle of his speech. It almost looked like I jumped forward a few frames, and I was. That's what happens when you have to cut out certain words from a coach's speech for FCC reasons. And I just didn't have B-roll to cover it, and also it was so quick. I was like, "Yeah, I'll just go ahead and knock it out. No one knows."
There's a bunch of stuff we'll watch tomorrow. Today we're going to celebrate the win. And you all deserve that. Tomorrow we'll get all that stuff fixed. All right? Bring it up in here tight. Let's go. Family on 2-1-2.
A strong feeling of wanting to get something done. You got to have that drive to make you want to go do it. So it's like the desire to get something done then and there or throughout time.
Again, tying it back into desire. Good theme of the episode.
I'm not doing too good. I'm going to have that desire to want to do better next time I do it.
I didn't want to be too formulaic with the episodes. Like, I didn't want to always go A, B, C, A. I didn't want to always, have it so structured that I couldn't pivot in the middle of things, like in the middle of a week. But the more planning I did ahead of time, the more beneficial it was to the show. But I had to be willing to almost throw the format or even my questions or even chunks of interview out the window if it didn't, and currently if it doesn't fit an overall narrative. Don't be so set on what you want to do that you're blind to what is actually happening. I sincerely hope you enjoyed watching today. If you liked what you saw and you want to stay up to date on other videos that I put out, go ahead and hit subscribe as well as ringing the bell, and you'll be notified every time I drop something new. If you want to further support some stuff I make, whether it's videos, podcasts, whatever, go ahead and check out my stuff on Patreon. It's in the link below. And just thanks so much for tuning in. I think that's all. I'll see you next time. Bye.